Greetings, Kurwas. Let's bring this Witcher series to its conclusion by talking about the latest Witcher book, Season of Storm. Sapkowski's glorious return to The Witcher after a 14-year pause. The book was first published in Poland in 2013, meaning a few years after the first PC game. Finnish translation came out soon after, and the English translation came out only a few years ago. Season of Storms is heavily inspired by the PC game, because Geralt uses more magic in this single book than he does in the entire saga. Also, now his famous steel and silver swords are being carried on his back, while previously they were always carried on Roach's saddleback. The PC games also made Geralt into quite the ladies' man, because gamers around the world like to jerk off between each other and debate who's the best girl for Geralt, Triss, Shani, or Yennefer. Despite the books making it clear who is Geralt's love of life. Also, for Christ's sake, if you thought Shani or Triss were the only redheads in Geralt's shed, well, now Sapkowski brings forth the third redhead, the girl's harem, the beautiful sorceress, Coral. See, the thing is that Geralt has a secret third sword, which is also cursed. He carries the steel sword for humans, silver for monsters, and his meat sword to defeat sorceresses, witches, dryads, and succubuses. Unfortunately, despite the critical efficiency of his third sword, it always seemed to cause more trouble than good for our hero. So hey, just try and suit this plot point, Sir Moorcock. I also found it funny that the central plot of Season of Storms is Geralt trying to get back his stolen swords. Sapkowski seemed to know from the feedback the PC game had that fans around globe wanted to read more epic high fantasy, but instead Sapkowski only gives us more quality short stories from a Witcher's day-to-day life. Season of Storm gives the continent its very own Lenin in the form of Archmage Ortolan. This crazy wizard wants to provide free medicine, free teleports, free magic amulets, free education, and anything that humankind can come up with. The harsh truth, however, is that the wizards take their magic from the world's elements, like air, earth, water, and fire, so each spell requires resources. I mean, you can't bake bread without flour. Fortunately for Ortolan, he does what many idealists do at the face of defeat. He changed his focus on the military-industrial complex. This is where Sapkowski is so brilliant when it comes to cold-blooded villains. The Witcher 3 game's Heart of Stone gave us Witcher's take on Faust, a story of a low-life bandit who sells his soul to the devil to get everything he wants, while everything he actually needed was just standing beside him the whole time. Geralt outwits the devil himself, and the bandit is given redemption to make up for his sins. Boring. Sapkowski, however, reminds you that there are no devils except the ones inside us when we become hungry for power. You don't summon demons into this world, but humans and especially wizards just happen to be power-hungry monsters. Innocent people are murdered in the name of science as they are captured as test subjects for biological weapons. The nobility of the goal is as believable as the chastity of a maiden in the morning after a village feast. In the continent, you don't defeat evil by throwing accessories in the depths of a volcano. Sapkowski has touched upon the subject of humanity's evil since the first book. The games made his "evil is evil" quotation into a popular meme, which I will recite now. Evil is evil. Lesser, greater, middling. Makes no difference. The degree is arbitrary, the definition's blurred. If I am to choose between one evil and another, I'd rather not choose at all. This is how a man who's lived through the Soviet Union Poland will pen it. Each and every one of us is a captain of our own ship, and no spark of infallibility shines over anyone. My wish is that if or when we get the 9th Witcher book, it will be written in the same style as Season of Storms. The short story books jumped from place to place alongside time, but Season of Storm tells multiple small stories through one major plot point. It works like a television season with multiple plots. I would go even as far and say the book feels like a video game world, where the protagonist is doing multiple side missions alongside one major quest line. My only real issue with the book was that I felt it was written too tongue-in-cheek. Sometimes plot points were only developed to deliver punchlines to jokes. Now, it's great that both the writer and reader are having a good time as the story finally develops further. Now, the other books were never dead serious, but this book almost felt like a parody of The Witcher. Now, I must give credit to Sapkowski for finally making me laugh out loud more towards Dandelion. Not at his jokes, of course, but at his expense. I'm not claiming Season of Storms is a cheap cash grab because of the worldwide attention the PC games gave the series, because it still gave a lot of new and interesting concepts for The Witcher, and more importantly, it gave us something we fans wanted, a look at the daily life of Geralt of Rivia. Now, if you played all the games and have read the books, wow! How much does GG Project Red owe Sapkowski for pretty much everything, right? One thing I did not expect from the books was how little of actual monster slaying there is. So major props to CG Project Red for highlighting what it means to be a Witcher by profession. What surprised me even further was all the concepts the game developers brought to the series. Weapons enhanced by oil, the depths of the elixirs, and all the gadgets and tools, ranging from various traps to bombs, that gave plenty of variety to monster slaying. If you wanted to slay a werewolf in the game, your best choice of weapon was a silver sword with some power enhancements that were strong against cursed being. Of course, there are other ways of defeating monsters. If Geralt faced Spider-Man, all he'd have to do is hire Sony Slayers to knock the little crawler out of his league. In the books, it just felt like Geralt solved most of his problems with his might alone. Like some crude barbarian. So in other words, the books were a perfect blueprint for the games. And the games themselves enhance and enrich the already excellent world with their own takes. As a gamer, it's just an unbelievable experience to read and learn how rich the Witcher books were for CG Project Red. These games are some of the greatest tributes a writer could receive as a thank you. I can completely relate to why CG Project Red wanted to continue the Witcher story. In a world where trolls living under bridges become customs border patrollers, young princesses forbid the slaying of drakes because they wish to have them as pets, and a witcher whose track record ranges from finding Cinderella's missing shoe, are just a much more interesting world than a generic fantasy world full of monsters. But what more could Geralt's future hold for us? Nothing ever ends, and Sapkowski has hinted that he has enough ingredients to cook another Witcher book for us peasants to read. Even though the Witcher Saga tells one massive story, It leaves plenty of open plot points open, like all great books do. Cyrilla, for example, has a lot of unfinished business and blood debts to collect or pay. For me, my ideal sequel would focus on the grown-up Ciri and her tenure as a witcher. I feel like Cyrilla is enough ambitious conqueror that she could form her own group of monster slayers, or bandits. The Saga of Bandit Queen Cyrilla, where alongside monster slaying, also includes robbing from both the nobles and the church. The truth is, I just don't care enough about the high fantasy elements of The Witcher, like the fairies and wizards. I like my stories focused on action, where the heroes have to fight through mud and shit. Even if we would never get a night book, I am still happy for reading all these books. Finnish translations by Tapani Kärkkäinen were superb in quality, and Sapkowski's style of writing is just captivating. So if you are like me and you feel Conan the Barbarian is both peak literature and cinematography, then I'm sure you're going to enjoy the Witcher book series. I hope these videos have encouraged you to get these books on yourselves, and hope you will have as great reading experience as I did. So just forget that god awful Netflix series and read the books.